What is up, everybody? Welcome back to racingnews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. All right, let's go to Saratoga. They're back running this weekend. Let's go to the 4th of July. Let's go to race 9 on the card. It's the big race of the day at Saratoga, the Belmont Derby. Of course, a grade 1 event worth $750,000. This should be a great race. They go a mile and eighth on the turf, field of 8. I'll put it up on the screen now for you. Like I said, it's going to be a fun one. I think this is a very, very evenly matched race. I could see it going a lot of different ways. So let's get going 1 through 8 here, and then we'll try to get you a winner at the end. All right, we're going to start with the number 1 Tank, a horse that's won 3 straight races down in Florida, coming into this one, and he has kind of found his form in a big way, taking them gate to wire. And like I said, 3 straight races, a state bred race at Tampa, and then 2 ungraded stakes races at Gulfstream Park. That's the good news. More good news is I think this horse is definitely on the lead by himself. I don't see any other horses that have a lot of early speed here, at least when it comes to trying to match this one. The bad news is it's very obvious this horse has got to show up and run a much improved race against much better horses. Yes, the horse is winning, but this is going to be a whole nother class level. So, but again, it's really, really going to help. This horse could be loose on the lead. Gets Luis Saez aboard. I think that's good news there. And of course, Carlos David, a very good trainer as well. So the number 1 Tank for an upset here. If you like a horse that's going to be, loose on the lead, this may be the one for you. The number 2 is Early Adopter, a horse that broke the maiden on debut before running in the Pilgrim next time out as a 2-year-old and finishing 3rd. Ungraded stakes to end the 2-year-old season, finishing 3rd as well. This year, an ungraded stakes at Tampa, got 4th, and then won an allowance at Keeneland before losing an ungraded stakes, finishing 5th there at Churchill Downs. Of course, trained by Chad Brown, so that's always, a plus in races of this magnitude, especially in New York. But what have we really seen out of this horse that makes you think that he can win? That's my problem. You always kind of get excited about Chad Brown runners, but boy, I don't know. We've seen the horse at the distance last time out, didn't run very well. I don't know. Not for me in this spot. I just think this horse looks a little out of class, and you usually just don't say that with Chad Brown runners, and maybe he'll surprise us, but I can't back him in this spot. All right, the number 3 is Luther, coming over from overseas here. Been in a couple of group 1 races, and long odds in those races. Got 4th 2 races back, and then 15th last time out. Of course, those are going to be very much tougher races than what you're running against here. But the races, a 3-year-old, he's 0 for 3. He got 2nd in an allowance, 3 races back as well. As a 2-year-old at Newmarket, was 5th in a race, in an allowance race. Won an allowance race, 5 races back. But, yes, overseas horse coming over here, but, the resume isn't great. So I don't know what to do with Luther. I kind of against in this spot, really. I don't think he's going to show up with too much of a chance, to be quite honest, in this spot. The number 4 is New Century. A horse as a 2-year-old, looked very good, won the Summer Stakes, a grade 1 event down at Woodbine, and then ran a pretty good 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at Del Mar. Just got too far behind, couldn't get the job done. They took the horse to Newmarket 2 races back, got 5th, beaten 5 in that one. Wasn't too bad of an effort, I guess, but just kind of a weird spot to try the horse there. Came back to the United States last time out at Churchill Downs, and I thought, man, quick turnaround there. Ran on 4:16, and then going to come back May 3rd on Kentucky Derby Day and run in the American Turf. Just got way too far behind. Was 11th up the backstretch. Was able to close really nicely. Got 3rd. Got beaten by a couple of nice horses. One we're going to talk about here in a second. The other, Zulu Kingdom, who's not here, not entered in another race on the card, but anyway. Ran really well. Good return to the United States. I think we'll be set up to run better. Got a lot more spacing now between races, so I expect a little bit better effort in this spot today. The number 5 is Test Score. 2 races back, this horse won the Transylvania at Keeneland at almost 10-1, and a really good effort. And then last time out in the American Turf, got 2nd, beating a length and a quarter to Zulu Kingdom, a horse I really, really like. So look, I think the 4 test score and the 5, the 5 test score and the 4 new century make a lot of sense in this race today. Both horses certainly coming out of a race that I thought was very good, and the winner is a horse that I really liked as well. So the 4 and the 5 garner a lot of attention for me. The number 6 is Final Gambit. This horse is moving back to the turf after trying 2 races on the dirt. So debuted on the turf at Churchill Downs, got third, beaten 3 1/4. Then went to the synthetic at Turfway Park, were lost a maiden special weight, but ran very well. Then broke the maiden, and then of course won the Jeff Ruby Stakes, which in turn said, okay, we're going to try the dirt now at the Kentucky Derby, because the Jeff Ruby gave this horse enough points to run in the Derby. Got fourth, beaten 4 1/4, ran well, got way behind, and then made a big run to get fourth, ran into that hot pace. Last time out on the mat and win, the horse, it was a 4-horse field. There wasn't any pace in the race, and the horse dropped back to fourth and never improved position. That's kind of a throwout race, though, for this one. I wouldn't be too hard on him there. 4-horse race with no pace is never going to work for this horse. So going to run here. I don't see a ton of pace in this one. I think that is kind of going to be a problem for him. It just no early speed whatsoever, but definitely more of a surface that I think he'll be okay on, and should be a better setup than just a 4-horse race that we saw last time out. The number 7 is World Beater. This horse coming off back-to-back wins for trainer Riley Mott. Broke the maiden at Churchill Downs and then won an ungraded stakes at Churchill Downs. Pretty impressive, both efforts here. A horse that was started on the dirt and really did no running at all, but since moving to the turf's been okay. A couple of close maiden losses before that maiden win, and then an ungraded stakes win last time out. So coming on in the right way, form looking pretty good for this horse as well. He's going to have to improve just a little bit more, in my opinion. He could do it, though. This is a horse that, like I said, been running very well last couple of races. And then finally, the number 8, Flying Mohawk, another horse that ran in the Kentucky Derby, but will now go back to the turf. So, finished 18th in the Derby, never really had much of a chance. Was second in the Jeff Ruby Stakes on the synthetic. That's why the horse ended up in the Kentucky Derby. Now, the races on the turf for this horse has been okay. For sure. 2 wins, his only 2 wins came on the turf. It was an allowance win at Fairgrounds and a maiden special weight win at Churchill Downs, and looked pretty impressive in both of those races. Also ran okay before that on the turf as well. 6th on debut at Saratoga, but that was a really tough race. Only beaten 4 1/4. Second in a maiden special weight to Kentucky Down, another really tough race. I thought he ran well. Then ran in the Pilgrim as a maiden and was 5th in that spot. So, like I said, that was the 3 races before the 2 wins over the turf. He's going to enjoy getting back to the turf today. It's just his talent level that's going to be the big question. How talented is he? Is he talented enough to win in a race like this? That's going to be the big question for me and for the bettors. So, all right, that is the field of 8. You could probably tell I was between the 4 New Century and the 5 test score. I really liked the American turf. I really liked Zulu Kingdom that won that race. So I went back and forth between the 4 and the 5 here, and I ended up landing on the 4 New Century. I just kind of feel like the horse will run better second time back in the United States after going to Newmarket. I think last time out, this horse just got way too far behind. I understand and I realize he does get behind. That's kind of what he does. I just think he's going to be a little bit more forwardly placed this time around. And I don't know what it is. I just feel like you're going to get a better effort second time in the United States this time for New Century. If he gets a little bit better trip, I think he's going to win it. I kind of think he's the class of the field as well. And I like test score quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of feel like New Century is the class. So I'm going to go number 4, New Century, to win this year's running of the Belmont Derby. All right, guys, that'll do it for this preview of the Belmont Derby. Hit that like button if you like it. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And as always, and most importantly, good luck if you're playing Saratoga on Friday.